Good evening and welcome to True Doug Man Encounters. I'm your host, Marvin Allen. If you or anyone you've known have had a sighting and would like for me to share it on my channel, please contact me at True Encounters. I would love to hear from you. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go and do so and click the button below. We're almost at our goal, fam. We're at 900 and something subscribers. Our goal is to reach 1,000. We can do it. Spread the word. Let a friend know. Let a family member know about True Encounters. It's a great show. Few things. I love doing what I do. That's why I do this. I do this all the time. I research. I try to learn new things about these creatures. And I'm learning a lot. And I was reading something today that somebody texted. And they was getting on one guy because a lot of people was down in this guy. But he threw another guy name in the picture. Somebody that I know, and I know he not like that, calling him a fraud and all that. It's sad when people put a person down like that. You know what I mean? If you don't have nothing good to say about a person, then just don't say nothing. Just if there's nothing good to say about them, then don't say nothing. It's sad, man, that people gotta put each other down like that, man. It don't make no sense. Now, this Doug man. Oh, another thing. I got my podcast up. Don't know when I'm gonna do my first podcast. I might do it tomorrow, a sample. Because remember, I'm new to it, so I might mess up a lot. But I'm gonna still do it, you know. Even if I gotta do it the way I'm doing my encounters right now, then I think it'll work out just fine. But got my podcast up, like I said, so I'm gonna really start doing that, you know, real soon. I'll probably do a sample tomorrow and let y'all check it out. And it's called True Encounters, just like my YouTube channel. You know, I'm gonna keep it like that. But like I said, on the podcast, the story is about Doug Man, but we're gonna be talking about other cryptids too. So I want y'all to join in on my podcast, and we can have a discussion. You know, I can't do this by myself. I'm gonna need y'all too. You know, so I'm gonna need help. You know, because I'm still learning. It's a lot that I don't know about this stuff because I'm new to it. You know, I'm new to this cryptid thing and this Doug Man thing. I'm new to this. And even on my podcast, I'm going to tell about my encounter when I had one. But enough about that. We're going to jump into this encounter that I left off from yesterday. So without further ado, let's get right into part 2 of this encounter. Now, she asked her cousin if she could come stay with her. The cousin told her, you know, she could. So she got her dog and her cat. They went over to her cousin's house. So when she got there, she asked her, why you don't want to stay home? She said she never told her cousin the situation that was going on at her house. She just said she just wanted to get away for a while. And she asked her, where's your other dog and your 2 cats? And she said, oh, they ran away. She didn't even tell her cousin what really happened. She didn't even tell her the truth. She just said they ran away. And her cousin thinking in her mind, you had that dog for a long time and those cats. I don't think they just gonna run away. So she sat there and was like, well, they ran away. So I don't really want to talk about it. So cousin left it as that. So she said she stayed there for about a month. Then she came and asked her, when you gonna go back home? She said, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go past there today and check on my house. Can you watch my dog and cat till I get back and get them? She said, yeah, sure, of course. So she said she leaves. She goes to check on her house. She goes and she opens the front door because it's locked. She checks everything in the house when she goes in there. Everything is locked up just like it was when she left. She opens the back door and goes out. When she goes out there, she says she's hit by the strong smell of urine and rotten meat. Dead flesh is what she told me, what it smelled like. But she looking around and she don't see nothing, no dead animals or nothing. So she walks down to the back gate and she checks it and it's locked. So she leaves, goes back in the house, leaves back out, and she goes up to the neighbors. She knocks on the neighbor's door. She asks the neighbor, she said, have you seen that thing around my house since I've been gone? She said, no, I don't even go outside much. She said, because it smelled real bad in my backyard. She said, I don't know what to tell you, but I haven't seen that thing because, like I said, I don't go out much. So she left. She went back home. She went back in the house and she sat down. She called her cousin. She told her, she said, I'll be over to get the cat and the dog and the food. So about a half hour later, that's what she did. She drove, went and got the cat and the dog, and she brought them back to the house. Gets them in the house. She said later on that night, she's sitting in the front room. She said while she's sitting in the front room, she hear this sound. She said she couldn't describe the sound, but she said it was a loud sound. And she kept hearing it like a I can't do it, but she said it was something. It sounded like it was something. She said it sounded like it was growling, but it would stop. It would growl, and it would stop. She said so she got up and she looked out the window. She said she didn't see nothing. She said, but she did hear something. She said so she go back and she sits back down in the chair. She said after about a minute or two, that's when she heard the thump on the roof. Doom. And she heard what sounded like something walking. Something that had to be real heavy walking on her roof. Boom. That's when it comes in her mind that this thing is on my roof. She said it kept walking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So she's sitting there. She gets up. She goes in her room, goes in her purse, and she gets the gun. She goes back out. She sits back down in the front room. She listened to the sound comes to the left end and it goes back over to the right end. Then it would go back to the left end, then it would walk back to the right end. Then it would go and then it stopped. It seemed like it stopped in the middle. She said that's when she heard it walk. It walked to the back of her house and it jumps off. Boom, she can hear something hit heavy in her backyard. She said that's how big and heavy this creature was. She said she gets up, she stands, and she faces the back door. She said that's when she can see the flap on the cat thing starts to move. It's this thing would hit it and it would go, it would flip in and out. And once it stopped, it would do it again. Like it's trying to draw the cat or the dog to it. It kept doing it. She said it did it for about 40 seconds. It kept doing it. It said when it did it the last time and it stopped, she waited a while. She didn't walk to that back door because she knew that creature was out there. So after about a minute, she said, she walks. And she had a window on the back door where she can look out of. So she looks out there. When she looks out there, she see this creature, this thing, standing about 10 feet from her back door, looking straight at her. It's like it's looking at her. This is what she said. These are her words, not mine. She said it's like this thing was looking straight at her, like it knew she was there. So she watching this thing. She said the head on this thing, it was just massive. She said this thing was cut up. She said it was built to kill. No question about that. She said this thing was built to kill. She said she watched this thing for about 60 seconds. And then it turned. And when it turned, she said this thing took one leap and it cleared the rest of the yard and over her fence. And she said that was a nice distance. She said she never seen nothing jump that far or high in her life. She turned around. She walked away because now she dazed. She's stunned. She said this thing can jump and walk on roofs. It can jump fences and all that. She's scared now. And she real confused because she don't know what to do. So she goes in her room. She lays down in the bed, calls the dog and take the cat in there. And she locks herself in the room. Staying there all night. She said she falls asleep about 1:36. She said that's what was the time on her clock. 1:36. She said she falls asleep. 1:36. She winds up falling asleep. And she wakes up. Something wakes her up. She said the sound of tapping on her window awoke her. The sound of tapping on her window awoke her. Doug in the bed, the Doug up. The Doug see it. The cat see it. Both of them looking at the window. She looks at the window. She see this thing standing there in her window looking at her. This time, she didn't have the window cracked. The window was closed and it was locked. And this thing was just tapping on the window. Like it's telling the animals, you know, come over here. Like it could just bust through the window and just grab them. Because it showed its teeth. Like it was just mad at this cat and this dog. Like it didn't like them, period. And it just keep tapping on her window. Tapping on her window. She said after about what seemed like 20 minutes. But she said it wasn't that long. She said this thing just turned. And it left. She said she stays up. She don't even go back to sleep. Make her a pot of coffee and she drink it. All the way to daybreak. Morning come. This when it get real interesting. She goes, do her same routine. She fix something to eat, feed the cat, she feed the dog. Go to let the dog out back. When she go to let the dog out back and she looks in her yard, what she see was the head of a deer in her yard. This thing decapitated this deer and threw the head in her yard. She don't know why this creature picked her to do these things too. So she walks down there. She looking around because she don't know if this thing around or not. She looking around. She don't see it. She gets the shovel, scoop the head up. She put it in the bag. She gonna do what she always do to her last animals. She gonna go bury it. She eased the lock off the gate door. She opens it. She looks out. She don't see nothing. She walks up in the tree line, up in the woods a little bit. She starts to dig a hole. She said while she's digging this hole, she hears something walking in the distance. And it's walking bipedal. That means it's walking in moderation. Boom. 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 She look, but she don't see this thing. At this time, she said. So when the footsteps stopped, she started digging the hole again. She trying to hurry up. She trying to hurry up and dig this hole. She hear the sounds of footsteps again. This time when she look, she see this thing standing by this tree. She said this thing was humongous. She said this thing was tall. And it was standing by a tree, looking in her direction, looking straight at her. She said when this thing looked at her, she dropped the shovel. And she looks at this thing. She said she wanted to turn away from it, but she said a part of her told her to look. And I said, what do you mean a part of you told? She said, I don't know how to explain it, but a part of me told me to look. She said she looked at this creature. And this creature looking at her. She said, and while she was looking at this creature, she said this creature started, she said it had that smirky grin on its face like it was smiling at her. Like it was happy that she was scared. Like it was happy that she's being intimidated. She said this thing looked like it was happy that it was torturing her. She's standing there and she's still watching this creature. Creature standing by a tree. She said she started to walk backwards. She walking backwards out of this tree line and to get back to her yard. She said when she got right at the tip of the tree line to come out, she said that's when this thing started to walk in her direction again. And it's walking. She said it's taking big strides. She said this thing taking big strides, walking. She said this thing came within 15 feet from her, at least. She said, at least. She said the thing was close. She said, and when it stopped, she said she backed down this little hill, because it had like a hill, she said, that go up and go up in the tree line. She said she backed down like this little hill, like a little hump. She got off of that and she walked it towards her back gate. When she got to her back gate, she stopped. When she stopped, she said that's when this creature walked in her direction again. And she said this thing, and these are her words, they are not mine. The stories I get from these eyewitnesses, the way they give them to me, I give them to y'all. She said this creature walked and came within 5 feet from her. She said because she could smell the foul breath on this creature. And it's breathing real heavy. And she looking at it. And she said it's every time it inhaled, it just seemed like his chest got bigger. She said then she heard a voice in her head. She heard a voice in her head that she said sounded like her mother. And she said this voice said, baby, you need to pray. Because what's before you is pure evil. You need to pray. She said at first she couldn't figure out this voice. Because she was scared, she was nervous, she was frightened, all at once. And then she heard this voice. But then it came clear to her that it was the voice of her mother. And she said, baby, you need to pray. Because what's before you is evil. She said that's what she did. She started to pray. She said, and while she was praying, she looked at this creature while she was praying. She said as she started to pray, she said this creature head started to jerk. She said she don't know why. And I asked, I said, you sure? She said this thing head started to jerk. I never heard this out of all the eyewitness I talked to. This is the first one. So if she said that's what happened, then that's what happened, because I believe her 100%. She said this creature head started to jerk as she was praying. She said the head just started to jerk. It just kept jerking. She said then this creature stepped back. It took one step back and it stopped. She said she stopped praying. She said and when she did that, that creature stepped forward again. She said then she started to pray again, even longer. She said this time as she was praying, it did the same thing. It took a step back, then it took another step back. She said it took another step back, then another step back. She said then it turned, it dropped to all fours, and it just ran straight up in the tree line. She said she turned, went in the house, took a Doug in the house, locked the door. She said when she got in the house, she sat down and she sat in the front room and she said, this is what she said. She said she had put her head down and she said, thank you, man, for saving my life. She said that's the last thing she said. And that was her encounter. And I was so blessed and so honored to get it from her. Because when she was telling me this story, man, she was getting really emotional about it. So when she was telling me the things that this creature was doing, because I never heard it before, it's not saying what these creatures will do. If you're not there to see it, then who say it's not true? I never doubt none of my eyewitnesses because I believe everything they say. If a person don't want to believe them, then it's their choice not to. But everybody that I encounter or come across, when they give me an encounter, you can bet it's 100% true. And that was her encounter. And like I said, I just started a new podcast. I might do something tomorrow, but I'm going to go ahead and upload this and let y'all listen to this. This is the second part from the one from yesterday. So I hope you like it. Like, comment, question. This is what I want to ask y'all. Should a person be called a liar just because a person don't believe them? Give me some feedback in the comment. I love y'all and I miss y'all. And I see y'all on the next True Doug Man Encounters. Good night.